Hello you beautiful people, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and are looking forward to the new year. I'm guessing a few of you, aside from getting some nice gifts and socks, maybe some of you younger folk out there got some nice Christmas cash to spend. Well, I'm here to spend it for you with some physical discounts to end the year. A few weeks ago, especially for Black Friday, there was a huge amount, and some of those still stand for games still available, so go check everything out. I'm just picking out some new stuff that I haven't mentioned before. We're jumping in with Video Games Plus. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim is an amazing $22. This is a hybrid game genre mix-up perfect for Nintendo's hybrid system. Mixing classic adventure narrative gameplay with strategy, you have an utterly compelling, weaving narrative with sci-fi themes. This is an essential game and a fantastic price. Adventure Academia, The Fractured Continent, is just $15. This is less critically acclaimed, but it's a strategy RPG-like game. Reminds me of something that you'd find on the PSP back in the day. A lower budget RPG, it's bright, it's colourful, and I think for $15, it's a great price to jump on board and give it a try. And if you want to purchase any of the games in this video, then please check the links below in the description and pinned comment. That really helps us out a lot. I've converted all the VGP prices from Canadian dollars, which shows on their website, to US dollars, which I'm sure most of you will be more familiar with, get your heads around more easily. Just remember, they have free shipping worldwide if you spend over 80 Canadian dollars, which is about 60 US dollars, not that much. And if you purchase something with our link, you have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon every week. I always mention the winner every Monday, so yeah, if you purchase something, you also have a chance of winning something as well. Alchemic Cutie is $22. This has actually been a mildly rare release when it first came out. They didn't print many of them, but now they've reprinted and got a tasty enough discount, which is perfect for those who missed out originally. This is a wholesome RPG about collecting unique slimes. Not the greatest, but a good one to add to the collection for this price. Arcade Spirits, the new challenges, is also $22. This is an interesting one because this is a European exclusive physical release. Yeah, unlike the first game in the series, which was released on both continents, it seems Funstock only felt comfortable releasing on their home turf, so it's one that you wouldn't really see while browsing stores in the US. If you go to Best Buy, you won't see this. A good price for an inclusive visual novel if you like that sort of thing. Similarly, Archetype Arcadia is a fairly recent visual novel from P-Cube, and it's one of the few modern ones at general retail that isn't an otome. It's an actual standard VN, which is something to be celebrated by those who aren't into otomes very much, and it's just $30, which may not sound like a huge discount, but as I said, it's only recently just come out, and it's better than the $40 that it was going for. Blade Assault, a really sweet $15. This is a 2D action roguelike platformer. Has a really cool visual style, fast-paced gameplay, and looks like a decent amount of fun if you're into this kind of genre. Calico is just $17. This is a European exclusive from Red Art Games. I've mentioned it quite a lot. Now, firstly, this is not a good game. In fact, it's the biggest, jankiest mess of a game ever created, but if you've got a 5-year-old daughter, oh my god, this is wondrous to them. This is my daughter's favorite game, and she's played Mario, she's played Kirby, she's played Pokemon. No, she loves this game the most. You own a coffee shop and essentially kidnap local wildlife and use magic on them. She's played it like 50 hours over the course of 2 years or whatever, and it's the trippiest game I've ever played. It's not good, but it's unique, I'll say that. All 4 Darksiders games on the Switch are just $21 each. These are fairly old releases and have been quite hard to find brand new recently, but they got reprinted from VGP and added to the sale with this really nice discount. You can't go wrong with these types of games if you want a 3D Zelda style game, but a bit darker, a bit more mature, especially in the mainline series. The spin-off one, Genesis, that is a bit different though, and that one's not as recommended, so I've heard. EXZEUS the complete collection is just $22 and I actually bought this myself because I love the vibe these are going for. It's like playing an early 2000s arcade game that would be on the Dreamcast. You get 2 games, both are rail shooters a bit like Star Fox, and I think it's a great price for this type of game. Little Witch Nobeta is going for $30, which doesn't sound like a bargain, but this US version is sold out in most places, and I tell you, I think it's a really underrated game. Action, puzzles, it's kind of like Dark Souls type gameplay, but with a Bishoujo witch, and it's surprisingly good. I like it a lot. There's also a huge collector's edition that has a $50 discount on it, but it's still quite pricey overall. I have that, it's quite lovely. Yeah, the publisher sent it to me, and I do recommend it. Mutant Mudds collection is just $15. That is a great price for 3 really decent games, 2 nicely made action platformers, and a puzzle game. These are most famous for being 3DS games, and I've lost a little something in the transition to the Switch, what with the lack of 3D effect, but still, really good price, cannot go wrong with that. In fact, $15, you should add it to your collection. Knights of Azure 2 is $50, which is quite a lot, but for a rare game that goes for much more elsewhere, it's currently the best and most affordable way to add some fan service action game to your collection. One of Koei's early releases on the system, this was like gold dust for a while, but VGP got it reprinted and now it's discounted to a decent-ish price. I wouldn't say it's a bargain, but it's one that hardcore collectors may have missed due to the really high prices it used to have on eBay. PIGEON Dev Games Collection is $15, which is a great price, perhaps the price it could have been at launch. It was one of Premium Edition Games' earlier releases, and it comes in a nicely presented slipcase, and you get a bunch of retro style games in one package. I actually have this, they sent it to me a long time ago, and yeah, it's nice. Tandem is just $11, which is a super cheap price for a nicely made puzzle game which lives up to its name, as you control 2 characters who need to work together to make their way from room to room. Not the best, but $11, you've got a good puzzle game for that price. White Day is $22. This is a cult classic Korean horror game that's bleeding with atmosphere and scares. This physical release comes with tons of DLC costumes as well, because you all know how Asian horror games like their girls to be skimpily dressed, as long as you pay for it. Starsand is just $11, which is a super cheap price. Now, this was always a budget game, you can tell just from the publisher alone, and it's probably not the best on the Switch, but as a survival game set in an Egyptian-style world, it's quite unique, and I would be interested in trying it for myself, especially for $11. Can't go wrong with that. Metroid Prime Remastered has a small discount. It's $30, which is cheaper than it's ever been really, and it's regarded as one of the finest games of the year. I recently purchased this myself because I've never actually played it all the way through, only about like halfway, and I vow to fix that error in the near future. And finally, how can we forget Let's Play Curling! Woo! Rock and roll, baby! Life is not worth living if you don't have curling in your Nintendo Switch collection. This is a North American exclusive because Europeans are not epic enough to have the most exhilarating sports game in town. Well, maybe. It's $19 and whatever. And that's really it for this video, but it's certainly not everything they have, because they have loads, like hundreds of discounted Nintendo Switch games. Many I've mentioned in previous videos from a few weeks back, so have a gander, have a look through. Make sure you don't miss anything, because there are some really good prices in there, like Shin Megami Tensei 5, Persona 5, things like that. Please click the links below, that massively supports us, and if you watched all the way through, please leave me a curling emoji in the comments, because you're a legend, and yes, there is an emoji dedicated to curling. Did Canadians invent the iPhone?